Hello everyone. This is the first of many tutorial slash gameplay sessions that I will be showing you through Minecraft. So we're gonna start really slow. I'm in the title screen of the game, as you can see. Now, if you don't know how to get to the title screen, then there are other tutorials I can show you how from everything from starting to download, the launcher, account setup, and into the title screen, but I will not go into any of that. Assuming you're already on the title screen, I'm going to explain Minecraft from scratch. So, first of all, Minecraft is a video game, as if that isn't obvious enough. Now, it's also called a sandbox video game, and basically, you don't have to worry about what this means too much, but know that it's a game without a clear objective. Well, there is an objective, a way to beat the game, but this is way too early to talk about, and you don't have to do that. You have a lot of freedom, you can build, you can break, you can pretty much do whatever you want. That's the beauty of a sandbox game. It's also a 3D game in that you can move in 3 dimensions. You can move forward, back, left, right, up, and down, and things are also rendered so they look 3D. And finally, it's a first-person game. There is a third-person view, but it's kind of hard to use. So for the most part, it's first-person. So it's sandbox, it's 3D, and it's first-person. So let's get into it. So there are different game modes. There's single player, there's multiplayer. I think you know what they mean. And there's other stuff I have to kind of talk about. So there's game modes called creative and survival. And then there's some other ones that we don't have to worry about for now. In creative, you can fly, you can't die, and you have everything you want. So it's good for like building or, creation. That's why it's called creative. But we're gonna focus in this tutorial on survival mode. And now that's mode. So in survival mode, you will have health. So that means you can die if that health reaches 0. More on that later. It also means you have hunger, so you might get hungry, and if you're too hungry, you might lose health or in some difficulties die. Haven't talked about difficulties yet. I'll talk about that. So the way you lose health is by taking damage, and there are different ways to take damage. I will go into that for sure. And when you take damage, enough damage such that you have no health left, you die. Now, when you die in Minecraft, you can respawn. When you respawn, you don't respawn right where you died. You respawn at what's called a spawn point, and I will also explain that later. But first I'm going to talk about difficulty. So there are different difficulties in survival, well, in creative as well, but it usually just matters in survival. Peaceful, easy, normal, and hard. So the difference is, for easy, normal, and hard, it's just the monsters that try to kill you. They will do more damage, and they might have special effects. For example, the spider can become invisible, and cave spiders can poison you on some harder difficulties, but not on easy. And then peaceful is just absolutely no monster at all. There's not even any of them, so there's no monsters. You will never get hungry, and when you take damage, your health regenerates much faster than usual, among other perks. So that's peaceful. We're going to be playing mostly on peaceful because this is a tutorial and we're starting easy. We don't want to start all the way up on hard or even easy. We want to start on peaceful so you get a hang of the game before we start introducing monsters into the game. By the way, monsters are called hostile mobs. I'm just referring to them because I haven't talked about mobs yet. More on mobs later. So, sorry for rambling on the title screen, but we really gotta get these basic things done. So, once we get into game, I can show you these in more detail. So, that's about difficulty, and then there's about game rules. So usually when you die, even though you can respawn indefinitely, you will lose everything you had on you. They will be dropped, and everything you carried with you that you had obtained will be lost. However, we're going to be using a special game rule called keep inventory that will not allow this to happen. So when you respawn, you still keep all the stuff you already have. This is especially useful for beginners who are new to the game, because then they are gonna likely to die more, and they won't have to go back and get all the stuff that they lost again. because remember, you don't respawn where you died. You respawn at the spawn point, but your stuff is lost and dropped at where you died. So you have to go all the way back to where you died, which might be dangerous to get it. And if you're not fast enough, they might despawn, which means they just disappear and you'll never be able to retrieve them again. But so we're using keep inventory, and we're going to be on peaceful difficulty, and we're playing on survival game mode. So these are the basics. What else has to be said? Okay, blocks and mobs. So what is a block? Now, as you can see already on the title screen, there are these square-shaped cube-like things. That's a block. So by convention, a block is a 3D, one tile by one tile by one tile thing that you can, step on. Technically, every single space in Minecraft is filled with a block. Where you don't see a block, it's filled with air, and water is filled with water block, which is also a block, and lava is also a block. So even liquids and gases like air, water, and lava, they are also considered blocks. But for the most part, we just have to think about blocks as solid blocks. So things like a dirt block, or a stone block, or a wood block, if you can kind of imagine. Once we get in, you'll see what block means. And then about mobs. So there are different types of mobs, but mob just stands for mobile. It's an entity that can move. So a cow, a pig, a chicken, these are animals. And then you have zombies and skeletons and these scary little monsters that will try and kill you. But since we're all peaceful, we don't have to worry about zombies and skeletons. But we will see chickens, cows, hopefully, and pigs, sheep, rabbits, horses, etc. These animals will still exist on peaceful because they won't hurt you. They will run around, and if you try to attack them, they're going to try and run away. For a while, they're going to like freak out and run everywhere. And then after a while, they calm down, you can hit them again. But we'll see that. So that's all you need to know for mobs for now. One thing is items. So what is an item? An item is something, for example, when I actually mentioned already that when you died, you drop all the stuff you had obtained. So where did that stuff get dropped as? The stuff gets dropped as items. So when you go near an item, you can pick it up. And then when you pick it up, it goes into your inventory. So that's your storage space. That's what you have obtained. You carry it on yourself. Now your inventory is not infinite. If you have too much random stuff, it will eventually fill up, and then you can't put anything else into your inventory until you throw some stuff you already had away. But so items are things that can be picked up. You can see that they are there because they are like miniature versions of the actual things, and they will like swing around and bob a little bit, and when you go near it, it goes into your inventory. You'll see this soon enough. When you break a block with the right tool, usually that block will drop items, and when you kill a mob, that mob will also drop items. Those are called drops. So for example, a pig will drop pork, and the sheep will drop mutton and wool. So these are drops. They are also items. Items and mobs together, for now, we're going to refer to them collectively as entities. But you'll see that entities can include things other than just blocks and items, but that's further into the game. As far as dimension is concerned, so there are different dimensions in the game. So there's the overworld, and then there's the nether and end. So this title screen here is actually the nether, but we're mainly going to focus on the overworld for a good chunk of our first few videos. So I don't think we have to worry about nether and end, but we do need to know that within each dimension there are different biomes. So for example, in the overworld, there's desert and forest and taiga and ocean and you name it. It's just like all the biomes you have in real life. There are also a few like fictional ones that don't exist in real life. For example, mushroom fields, but that's kind of rare. So for the most part, overworld biomes also exist in real life, so you can correlate pretty easily. What else do you need to know before I start a world? For now, nothing. I might talk about seeds a little bit in maps and what a world means, but that's beyond what we need to understand to start the game. I think these first 10 minutes should give you a good idea of the basics of the game. Once I start a world, we can also talk about controls and stuff. So we're gonna do single player, so we just click it. We go create new world. And now, because we want it to be survival, that's already done, that's fine. We want the difficulty to be peaceful, so we just click until it's peaceful. We do not want to cheat, because cheating is bad. And now, just here in game rule, we want to scroll down and we want to say keep inventory. We want to set that to on. It was off before. We set keep inventory to on, and I already explained why we need to do that. So then we just press done. Don't worry about this too much. I'll show you. If you click on it, it's just this stuff, but we're not changing any of that. We're not setting a seed. Data packs, don't worry about that. That's not important right now. So now we just have to rename this world. So I'll call this tutorial world. And just gonna press create new world. This will take a little while. So we spawned in this world here. So the biome we are in is grasslands, but there's a dark forest nearby. So here's what you can do. You can move your mouse left and right. So you're facing different directions, and the crosshair in the middle of the screen is where you're heading. So the crosshair right now is pointing at this bushy little structure here. So if I now press W, I can move towards it. Notice that when there's a step and it's only one block high, you can directly step on it without doing anything. But if you want to jump manually without this auto stepping, press the spacebar like that. That's jumping. You can also go backwards with S, left with A, and right with D. But for the most part, if you want to go right, just move your mouse to the right and also press W to go right. This way, you can see where you're going. So I can press D to go right now, but I can also move my mouse and then press W, which is arguably better for beginners. So I'm going to move this again. So that's basically the essence of moving. A few other controls that you need to know. E will open the inventory. Now there's nothing in the inventory because we haven't gotten anything, but this is what it looks like. Notice it's finite, so it will eventually run out if you store too much stuff. Press E again to close it. A few notes here. ESC opens this. So this is the escape button. One thing you might want to do is go into options and change some things. For example, I have music off, but if you want music, you can change it here. Press done when you're done. You can change the language, you can change the controls. Video settings, one thing that is often changed is brightness. If your brightness is not set to brightest, I recommend you do it because the brighter the easier it is to navigate the game, especially when you go into caves and stuff. Another thing is in controls is mouse settings. This is the sensitivity. On this current version of Minecraft, 1.16.4, I prefer the sensitivity 60%, but you can change that. That would just change how much the screen moves when you move your mouse. But I prefer this. If you want to change that, here is how you change it. So we're not actually going to play much in this world. That's for a future video. But for now, I want to show you some damage mechanics before we end this video off. So I'm going to press here. You don't need to know what I'm doing now. I'm just going into a testing world so I can show you some things. Oops, not this one. I went into the wrong world. Just a second. Should be this one. So this is just the testing world. Again, you don't have to worry about any of this, but I do want to show you what I'm doing. Oops. Okay, so I'm in creative mode right now, but I will change to survival in order to show you some of the damage types. So let's say that let's say that we're on top of this big stone tower. So this is where I am standing. Oops, and here. Now, I'm gonna change my game mode to survival. Again, you don't need to know how I'm doing this stuff right now. But let's say that I just want to jump down from here. Notice I have 10 hearts. That represents my health. Every half a heart is 1 health, so 10 hearts is 20 health. And you also notice the hunger bar. In peaceful, we can just safely ignore this for now. And now you can notice I have some stuff in my inventory, but again, you can also ignore that for now. It's not very important. One thing you'll notice is that if I'm here but I try to jump down directly, I will take damage. I took quite a bit of damage. So now I'm regenerating because I'm on peaceful. Now, here's a question for you. Why do I take damage? The answer is actually, I took damage because I fell a large way. So don't worry about what I'm doing. I'm just going to go back up and show you how I took the damage again. When you're on a high place and you jump down or fall down, and the distance between here and where you fall is greater than 3 tiles, you will take what's called falling damage or fall damage. This is the first type of damage you have to know. So this damage will get bigger the bigger you drop, and if you fall way too high, like say 20 tiles, then you will actually die from directly falling. So it is possible to die from falling. I'm going to change my difficulty to peaceful here. So again, boom. Notice I took damage. Again, that's because I was falling a big distance. So that's fall damage. I hope this is sufficient to say. Once we get into game, you'll notice this is probably the most common source of damage for new players, is falling too many tiles at once by accident. There are a few ways to stop this falling damage and to reduce it, but I'm not going to talk about that right now. Just know that falling damage is the most common type of damage. You take the damage if you fall too many tiles at once, and there are ways later on to reduce or mitigate this type of damage. The second type of damage I want to show you is drowning damage. So this is water. You can go into the water, you can swim around in the water. Now if you stay in the water too long, watch what happens. There are bubbles. See, they're going down. So I'm just gonna stay here in the water. Watch what happens. Now that I have no bubbles left, now I'm starting to take damage. I'm also regenerating because I'm on peaceful, and so regeneration is quick, but still I'm taking a lot of damage. Observe carefully. I'm taking a lot of damage, and this is not falling damage because I'm clearly not falling anywhere. This is called drowning damage. So the reason why I took drowning damage is because I stayed in the water too long and I ran out of bubbles. Whenever this happens, you will take 1 heart or 2 health of damage every second until you die. This is only for damage. Net damage might be less because of regeneration, or more because if other things are attacking you. But this is drowning damage. So this one is easier to avoid than falling damage. It's very easy. The way to avoid it is don't stay in water for too long. If you need to go into water for something, be brief, come back out quickly. You don't want to stay inside water for too long, or else this happens. So I'm going to press respawn just to show you. So this is where I died. I don't respawn here, I respawn here. Now, I already kind of alluded to why, is because that's not my spawn point. This is my spawn point. So, the third type of damage I'm going to show you is called burning damage. Oops. Okay, so don't worry about what I'm doing. I'm going to start a fire right now. So I'm going to put this block down. Don't worry about how I did that. And I'm going to light this block on fire. Now I'm going to stand in it. Watch what happens. I take damage. Not a lot of damage, but I definitely take damage. Now, I'm going to turn the difficulty to something other than peaceful, so I take more damage. I mean, I take the same damage, but I regen less. So notice my health is rapidly going down from the fire. Now let's say I leave the fire. Notice I'm still taking damage despite leaving the fire. The reason is because fire damage actually persists even after you leave the source of fire. It continues to burn you. So I'm going to do that one more time so you can have a look. So I'm here. I'm going to go into the fire. I take a lot of damage. And then I leave the fire and I continue to damage. This is not something that falling or drowning damage does. Is after you leave the source of damage, you continue to. This time I actually finish burning, but you don't always get so lucky, and if you're not lucky, you'll burn all the way to death. So I'm going to do this one last time, and this time I'm going to run to the water and watch what happens. Notice I had half a heart left, but I did not die this time. That is because when you are burning, so when you're taking fire damage from persistent burning, and you go into any source of water, for example, the ocean here, but anytime you burn and you enter water, you stop burning, and all the fire is gone. So that's one way to stop the persistent fire damage, is to find a water source and go into it. So I'm going to kill myself quickly, just to make another point. So I'm back here again, where I was burning. So this time I am going to light this grass block here on fire, and I'm going to show you more closely. So I'm burning, 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 and I get out, and I'm going to step into water. Immediately, no burning. So water extinguishes fire. Great. So that's all you need to know about fire damage. And finally, I'm going to show you two other sources of damage. So this one, oops, huh? Oh, okay. So this type of damage is called lava damage. It's very similar to fire damage, but basically, see this orange little thingy? That's a block of lava. So if you go into lava, you also take damage. You take more damage and much faster than either drowning or burning. Lava damage is a very big source of damage. So again, I'm on full health and watch what happens. So I'm going to go in, boom, 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 and I'm dead already. Lava is similar to fire in that it also does persistent burning afterwards. So I'm going to get rid of these and I'm going to show you. So this time I'm going to step out of the lava. Boom, 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 boom. Notice I'm still taking damage despite stepping out of the lava and actually burned to death this time. But notice, even after I step out of the lava, I'm still taking damage. I'm taking damage at a lower rate, at a slower rate than when I was inside the lava, but I'm still taking damage. That's because lava, just like fire, has persistent burning damage even after you leave the source of damage. That's because it's actually the same burning effect as fire. Because lava, like, you can think of it intuitively, it also sets you on fire just like the regular fire. So this and that will both set you on fire. And just like that, if you go into water, it will mitigate the damage. So I'm going to show you one more time. Boom, boom. And this time I'm going to run to the water. And it's extinguished immediately. I'm going to go closer to the water and demonstrate one more time. Oops, I don't have the lava. So I will need to give myself another lava bucket. Okay, so again, same thing. This time I'm actually very low, so I'll just kill myself. So I have full health to show you this again. Okay, so I died this time. I'm gonna set the time to, oh, I forgot to talk about this, but there's a day-night cycle. So just like real life, it'll be daytime and it'll be nighttime, and you can watch the sun and moon go across the sky. But note that the difference is in Minecraft, days and nights go by much faster. instead of being 12 hours long, a day is 10 minutes, and instead of night also being another 12 hours long, it's only another 10 minutes. So in total, a day plus night in real life is 24 hours, but in Minecraft it's only 20 minutes. So in Minecraft, time goes by 72 times faster than in real life. That is nice to know. Other than that, because we're on peaceful, there is not that much difference between day and night. In the night, it's darker. You can see some structures better. You can see sources of light better in the night. And then in the daytime, everything's just very well lit. But for now, don't worry about that too much. We're gonna get into day and night more when we start playing on our real world that we created a few minutes before. I'm going to show you this lava damage this time again, but with the water nearby. So I'm going to step into it. Boom, boom. This time I'm going to walk out. I'm burning, but at a slower damage rate than being in the lava itself. And now I step into the water and there's no more lava left. Sorry, no more damage left. So that's lava damage. Pretty intuitive, huh? Now I'm going to show you the last kind of damage I'm going to show you. There are actually many more types of damage in the game. But for beginners on peaceful mode, I would say the most important sources of damage are the ones I showed you. And maybe this one more. This is the last one. You're actually more unlikely to come across this type of damage than falling, drowning, burning, or lava. But it's still nice to know. So, notice the hunger bar. I'm making it go down very quickly. So right now I still have quite a bit of hunger. Right now you can see I still have like 7.5 bars of the hunger. I didn't even explain that because we're mainly on peaceful, but here I'm on different difficulty, so I can just show you this. On peaceful, actually, I just realized you'll never actually come across this source of damage. Like never ever will you get too hungry. But it's nice to know as a game mechanic, if you're playing on another difficulty, if your hunger gets too low, what happens? Right now I'm gonna sprint a bit so that it goes down quicker. Come on. Get hungry. Oh, I haven't even talked about sprinting in detail, but that's not something you have to worry about. For now, you can just observe the beauty of this desert while I try to get as hungry as possible. Am I still hungry? Come on. Okay, only 2 left. That's good. Almost there. 1.5. Perfect. We're almost there. We're almost there. Okay, so I just given myself some regeneration so that I have full health again. But watch what happens after this regeneration runs out. I have 0 bars of hunger, so I have absolutely no hunger left. All my hunger has ran out, and I'm very hungry. Notice I'm actually taking damage. I'm not falling, I'm not drowning, I'm not burning, I'm not standing in lava, but I'm still taking damage right now. Slowly but surely and gradually I'm taking damage. I have no hunger. This is called hunger damage. When you're too hungry and you haven't eaten food for way too long, this happens and you take damage gradually until you die. On easy, it will damage you until you're on 5 hearts, so you won't actually die. On normal, until half a heart. And on hard, it will actually kill you. So if you're too hungry and you're desperately out of food, you have to eat or else you will actually die. So here's how you eat. Say I give myself a cooked pork chop. Here you eat by holding the right key. So I actually pressed the the right mouse key and held it. So if you select the food in your hotbar and you click and you hold the right key, you can actually eat. You cannot eat in peaceful because you don't need hunger, but I'm just showing you here that's how you eat in case you want to experiment with other difficulties. I'm now going to, so notice the hunger bar went up by 4 and my health stopped depleting, so I'm not losing any more health. I'm not taking any more hunger damage after I ate the pork chop, which is also intuitive. But just to end this, I'm gonna go back to that world again. So by the way, if you're on the home screen, you already created a world. If you want to know how to go to that world, single player, and then just the world that you selected, double click it. Um, a few very quick mechanics to point out right here. This is your hotbar, so this is your inventory, and these 9 are your hotbar, so you have these visible all the time. You can switch things from your hotbar into your inventory and from your inventory into the hotbar and vice versa, like all the time. But in order to know how to change between, so notice this square is more dense than the other one. That's because I'm holding it. Say I want this 7 slice there. You can press 7. If you press 4, you go so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Another way to do it is you can scroll. So scrolling will actually also change, but scrolling is often imprecise, so I prefer person to use the numbers, but if you prefer scrolling, that's good. I'm going to show you both ways to change your hotbar. So that just determines what you're holding right now. Next time, we're going to start with the mechanics of breaking and placing. So that's left and right clicking. So notice I haven't actually talked too much about right and left clicking. We talked about the keyboard controls of moving, we talked about the inventory, we talked about the hotbar, but I haven't talked about left and right clicks. I mean, I kind of said hold the right click with the food in your hotbar in order to eat, but that's pretty much it, and that's not even very useful because we're on peaceful difficulty. You can't eat anyways, but that's the only thing I mentioned about the mouse so far. So next time we're going to dig into mouse controls, breaking and clicking. Sorry, breaking and placing, respectively left and right clicking. Alright, so just a note about being able to change your field of view with your mouse by moving it left and right. If you move your mouse up, you can see the sky, including the sun. That's the sun in Minecraft. It's right now about midday. And you can also take your mouse and you can actually also drag it down. You can see right beneath you, so you can actually see the block that you're standing on. You can see directly where you're walking. That's pretty neat, right? But for the most part, keep your field of view towards the forward direction. I would say that's probably the most useful in the long run. I will see you in the next video. Oh, a note. In order to go back to the main menu, ESC to open this and save to quit the title. That will save your game at your current progress and then move you to the title screen. And then you know how to get back in. I just showed you that. Alright, have fun. Bye.